It's Brutal Dan.
And it's Danish. Welcome to the Spooky Asian Club.
Ooh. Spooky Asian Club is your new favorite horror podcast where we slice into the intersections of Asian stories, horror movies, pop culture, and more from our creepy little perspectives.
And in this episode, we're talking about the 2022 Taiwanese film Incantation. But before we get into that, let's introduce our guest for this episode.
Yes. Joyce, are you in the room with us?
Yes.
Could you just tell the listeners who you are and maybe what spooked you recently?
Oh, wow. Who I am? That's a really
Existential
existential
question.
question.
Yeah, we're digging deep in this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, where do I even begin? Well, like any good American, I'll define myself by my job first. I am a graphic designer and artist, just trying to make it out here in the world. I am Taiwanese American. What else? I'm in my 30s.
What spooked you recently?
You're like, get back on track. Because I was actually going to say what spooked me recently is the price of eggs. I wanted to mention that because, podcasts are kind of like almost a blip in time. Like it's like frozen in time. So I listen to so many podcasts where it's like, they not filmed it, but recorded it in 2020. So they're talking about the pandemic. And I was like, that was a time. So for this podcast today, it is 2025, y'all, and egg prices are insane.
How much are eggs right now?
I don't know personally because I don't really go grocery shopping that often, but I heard it ranges from anywhere from like $8 to like $12 now.
$12 for eggs?
Yeah. Is that true, Danny? You nodding.
It is true. I eat a lot of eggs and my grocery prices have gone up. But not just me, Waffle House has put out an official statement about their eggs.
No.
They
What
had to
is
raise their prices. So if you get
No.
eggs at Waffle House, they want you to know that you're going to be paying more because of the egg price rise. And
We
that's
love that
scary.
transparency though.
Yeah, we do. What about artificial egg, like vegan eggs? Like, is that still the same price?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because they're not affected by bird flu and other things.
That's true. I was thinking more along the lines of like people being like, "Oh, we're going to gouge the prices because people want
Mm.
eggs." So,
Now
I
you're
don't know.
thinking.
We should start a vegan egg company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, so that's what spooked me. And segue, speak no evil.
Hey, listener, this is Banana in the Future. Just wanted to give you a heads up that there will be spoilers for the movies that we're going to be talking about today. So, if you don't want to listen to any spoilers, then I would suggest that you watch the movie first and then come back and listen to the episode. All right, back to the show.
Oh,
Oh.
speaking of, which one? 2022 or 2024?
Uh Actually, I watched the 2024 one with James McAvoy.
For those of you in the audience who are not familiar with the film, Speak No Evil is a 2022 Danish psychological horror movie written by Christian Taftrup and Mads Taftrup, directed by Christian Taftrup. The film takes place in Denmark, the Netherlands, and Italy, and it's about a Danish couple with a child who meets a Dutch couple with a child during their vacation to Italy. Shortly after, the Danish couple is invited to the Dutch couple's home in the middle of nowhere in the Netherlands, where they have a small vacation getaway before weird things start happening.
And then later, the American remake that we were alluding to was just released last year with James McAvoy, but it was also written and directed by James Watkins, who is also known for the movie The Woman in Black, which came out in like 2012. So it's pretty, I mean, it took him 12 years, but what did you think, Joyce? What are your thoughts of Speak No Evil?
So obviously, I can only speak to the 2024 one. But Banana and I were speaking earlier, and I was telling them about this movie, and I was like, you gotta watch it. It is like so of the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, it really struck me. Like, I know the movie was about a specific scenario and theme, but it just felt so applicable to current times that it really sat with me. And I was like, I kept thinking about it. And I was just like, oh,
Yeah, it's so
yeah.
scary to make friends.
Yeah. I
So
Takeaway,
scary.
Danny.
yeah.
That's my takeaway. Yeah, like you finally take the leap and say, like, I'm going to make
That's
friends.
true.
I'm gonna, follow through with plans. And look what happens.
Yeah. Maybe we just don't meet people. Maybe that's the message of the story.
Oh my God. I don't know. My mom was telling me, I was talking to her for context. My mom is also Taiwanese and she lives in Taiwan and like there's a whole like Asian superstitions or like culture. And like she was telling me, she's like, this year, Joyce, this year is the year of like the double snake, like double-headed snake. And then she was like, this year is not the year like to make new friends or just like be very careful like who you make friends with.
Is that specific for
Wow.
your zodiac sign or is that everyone?
Oh, great question.
Everyone.
I forget, but let's just say
Nobody make
everyone.
friends. Nobody make friends.
Just don't meet anyone.
Just don't
No.
meet anyone.
Yeah.
Don't go to cute little villas. Don't get charmed by couples that laugh at your jokes. It's a
Yeah.
no-no.
And if they like grab their child really like roughly and
Ooh.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
the dad looks like James McAvoy.
Well,
No. Oh, sorry.
I mean, if the dad looks like James McAvoy, I may approach.
I talked to my therapist a lot about horror movies. He's not a fan of horror movies, but I was telling him about this one because it felt very relevant to the times where it's like, it's about a couple who just keeps getting like letting themselves like get to a point where they're just like, I'm just gonna go die. Like they're basically just like, they see all the red flags, right? Like all the red flags are there. This other couple is like really weird. Their child obviously has no tongue. But they're just like, they were just born like that. Our son just doesn't have a tongue. And it's like, I mean, that's okay. Sure. We want to be open-minded here. We want to,
Yeah. We
be
don't
polite.
know.
We don't
Yeah.
know. Um, and so it's just like this sense of like we want to be polite. We don't want to like rock the boat. So we just keep going with these weird things that this couple's telling us, like, you're vegetarian. Well, we only have meat, and that's what we do here. And it's like, but
Okay,
that's
the way he fed it to her though,
And
he's
like,
like,
oh,
open up.
watch her
And
chew.
yeah. And this goose's name is Lily. I just wanted to tell you that.
oh, ugh.
I think it's such a interesting film because like when we think about it on a higher level about like social commentary and like social contracts that you like step into, it's it's kind of like you don't, I don't know, even with red flags, I feel like the desperation of getting to a certain age where it's not easy to make friends. You
True.
feel like, you and your partner are your whole lives and you're trying to break out of this shell of like expanding your worldview. It's such an interesting take on how humans, well, not all of us, but like the risk aversion of things. And it's just like, would like in that situation, knowing you and your partners, would y'all have said yes? And what would happen if your child wanted to go back for their stuffy?
My partner and I were literally just talking about this because
Mhm.
we rewatched the movie yesterday because I was like, oh yeah, like we're talking about it on a podcast. Yeah, the whole time we were asking like, would we go on this trip? And then we decided that okay, not we. My partner is generally not as sociable as I am. And then I think I would be convinced by him, like not to go. Like I would just be like, yeah, it's like, nah, it's like, we don't even know though. So no, we would not go. We would not go back for the stuffy. Okay, that sounds really cruel. And maybe I'm saying this because we don't have children. So like I might change my mind if we actually did have a child, but I would like, we were like, listen, we would sit her down and just be like, something is not right. like we don't feel good. Like you were in their bed, so we're gonna go. I am so sorry. Like I know you're very distressed right now, but we're not coming back. And just be like, done. And then there would be no movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the listeners that haven't seen the movie, so we're talking about a point in the movie where all these red flags are coming up, and the wife is like, "We got to go. Like, I don't feel comfortable. There's weird like gestures, and like I'm just very uncomfortable. Pack the bags, pack up the car. We're gonna leave." Kind of stealth, like, the people are still sleeping, and it's just I don't know. The kids is like, I accidentally left something and it was their stuffed animal. And then they went back for it. And of course, they get caught.
Child, just suck it up. Like, we'll buy you a new toy, a bigger one, a nicer one that doesn't smell. Because I only saw the Danish version. I didn't see the American version, but the one in the Danish version looked like it was smelly. Like,
Oh,
honestly, like, we'll buy you like a new toy. We'll buy
okay,
you 10 toys. We just want to stay away from this weird couple.
the American one looked pretty clean.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what they did in the Danish version, but like the American parents said all that because like as my partner and I were like, no, no, like we would just be like, we'll get you a new one. They said all that, and then like the daughter was like, no,
Oh God.
no, like she like yeah. So
Ugh.
you know,
Ugh.
was that like in the Danish version too? Actually,
No, the Danish version, the child just started like crying. Like she was just like crying, and the couple felt like guilty. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, honestly, okay, like knowing that couple and like talking about this now, I'm just like, okay, of course, all the events leading up to the point at the very end where they get stoned to death, like, okay, it makes
Oh,
sense.
so Joyce, so as someone that's seen both, the endings are wildly different, and I think that's actually something to talk about. So, Banana, keep going with the ending,
Oh, right.
because that is not what happens in the American
yeah, that
version.
is not what happens.
Okay, well, in the Danish version, red flag after red flag, they have no weapons on them. The other couple, the scary couple, doesn't even have weapons on them, but they somehow manage to talk them into staying put in a car. They don't fight back really. I mean, they fight a little bit, but it's just like they're easily subdued. And eventually they get their child taken away from them. They're like the kid's like tongue gets cut out, and everything, and she gets taken away. And then they end up in the middle of nowhere, and they tell the couple to like strip and then walk down a path. And they get to the bottom of the path, and they're just crying. They're like obeying everything, and they throw rocks at this crying couple until they're stoned to death.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really biblical.
Yeah.
yeah. It was very brutal, very stark, very there was no happy ending in the
Mm-mm.
Dutch version. But Joyce, what happens in the American ending?
Well, the American ending is the couple comes together. They somehow like it's like they're figuring it out as they're being pursued by like three assailants, adult assailants. They figure it out. They end up they're fighting for their lives with their children and oh sorry, their own child and the child that they're trying to help. Amazing. And then they end up killing yeah, all the quote unquote, well, not quote unquote bad people.
Bad
They're
people.
pretty bad. They're like basically out to murder them. So like they kill all of them. And I mean, but they also suffer like lots of injuries themselves, but they make it and they drive out of there.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a happy ending in this one. So they cut off the cycle. So again, for those that haven't seen it, you figure out pretty close to the third act, like the big climax, that this couple has been luring other couples, taking their child and making it their own. every time, and they cut out the tongue so the child can't really fend for themselves or speak on what happens. And it's really creepy too. What really struck me was like the photos or like the souvenirs that they would keep of the family vacations and stuff. That was very um it got under my skin that they like, they do this for fun and they still keep these trophies of past families. It is interesting that the ending changed, and I think that's a very American Western type of thing to do to make it more palatable because I don't know how the reception like it takes a lot. Like I would not recommend the Danish version for anybody that has like a weak stomach or like is in like a bad place mentally because it's like bleak. It is
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
I
it was
think so.
intense. Yeah, I honestly was like, after watching the Danish version, I was like surprised that there was an American version because I was like, how did they do the same thing in an American version? But now, hearing how the ending was from Joyce, like that makes a lot of sense.
Oh my God, Danny, like that's so interesting that you said that. I was literally thinking the same thing. I'm like, it's a very American vibe, right? It's like, yeah, we did it. Like, which, is nice, I guess. Like, so I guess people aren't walking away from the movie like the Danish version being like, oh,
Exactly.
well.
Like, yeah, where do we go from here?
Danny, so with you and your partner, do you think you would go on this retreat?
I think we would. We are very extroverted. We are very easily to make friends and um probably to a detriment of the fact that we would probably be super excited that we're getting invited across the country to go to a summer vacation. And sadly, I would probably be the one that left my stuffies. It's blurred out here, but I have all these stuffies, and I would probably leave my stuffy, and I'd be like, "Yo, we cannot leave
Oh
that
my God.
stuffy." So I would be the one that causes us not to be able to leave. I'm
Dude,
I'm the child.
but would you let your partner like talk you down from the stuffy?
Depends which stuffy.
Oh
It's
my
true. I've seen
God.
Danny with claw machines. It's rough.
If there is a big memory tied to it and I'm carrying it around with me for a reason, I don't know. Plus, we're both big boys. I think we can fend ourselves in this situation. However, I don't know. I feel like logic and emotion kind of go out when you're in a situation that you cannot believe is happening. I don't necessarily blame them.
No, I agree. I think they were definitely, I mean, again, in the Danish version, they felt guilty and shame just like a lot. Like throughout the entire movie, it was just like guilt, shame. They just didn't want to be terrible parents and they also didn't want to seem like terrible people.
Obviously, it's a plot point for the movie so that the movie could keep continuing. But I do see how like they want to be the good parents, especially like I feel like after all the turmoil that they've seen, like how the other couple has been treating their child, I feel like it was at that point is like if we don't let our kid go back and get this stuffy, then we're just as bad as them. I think that's why they were a little bit more malleable to the idea of not just leaving this thing.
That's
But
true. I didn't think about it like that.
speaking of current day events and kind of like this idea of making things more Western or American, I've been reading a book. I'm not finished with it yet, and I'm not going to go into any spoilers, but have y'all heard of Yellowface? It is a very interesting book. So on the back of the book, you already know straight off the back, this book is going to be about Yellowface. So there's kind of like these two budding authors. One of them is Chinese American and the other one is white. Her name's Juniper Hayward. Juniper Song Hayward, but her mom gave her the middle name Song, not because it's a Korean surname, but because she was like a hippie, and nobody knows that. Her friend, best friend, the Chinese American that is very successful writer, dies, and Juniper steals her stories and like publishes it as her own, rebranding herself as Juniper Song, and it's a wild ride. And it's like it's definitely satire, but it's definitely of the times because you see kind of like like right at the beginning, um the main author dies, the Chinese American author. Uh and you see this whole thing unfold like a bad Twitter, like twit longer, like click here and read. It's an interesting book because you're reading it from the perspective of this white person that is taking a story stolen from her friend who's Chinese, who wrote about the Chinese labor camps in World War One. And you
That's
see
bonkers.
yeah, you see this like unfurling of like, well, I mean, yeah, I did take some of her notes, but like I'm trying to honor the material and I'm trying to honor her, and she's clawing, and she's always been in the shadow. Um she's always been in the shadow of her friend. So this is like her chance to shine,
Mhm.
and take this story, and it succeeds. But that's all I'll say from there. But it's just a very it's like very meta because you're reading it. She's getting canceled on Twitter, and you see how she handles it. And she's being invited to these panels where she's the only white person on a panel of Asian people. But then, like, on the flip side, there's this kind of through line of her kind of like justifying it, that, like, well, if it wasn't for me, then people that don't look like me would never hear the stories of these Chinese laborers. And it's like this like weird messed up like, oh, you're in the mind, like Rebecca F. Hwang. Rebecca does such a good job of like getting you into the mind of people that might actually think like this. And
I
not obviously, I mean, this is has nothing to do directly related with Speak No Evil, from any standpoint, but like this idea of like people not really understanding cultural appropriation or taking other
Mhm.
people's cultures and stories and trying to capitalize on it. It's it's weird.
As you were talking about the plot, I feel like something like this actually happened in real life. Like, I think I saw something on Book Talk or Book Twitter back when, Twitter was a thing, um, where there was some drama that had, now we're becoming like a drama podcast. But anyway, I feel like I saw something like that happen. I think it was like in 2020, 2021, or something like that. That's so interesting. I wonder if it was like related to the book somehow.
Maybe. The more that you dig deep, you find that Athena is the author that dies. But Athena is Chinese American, but had also, like, I guess gets exposed by Juniper in a way that's just kind of like, oh, she's also kind of like taking stories that aren't her culture either, in the fact that like she had written some previous stories about like Korean wars or things like that. And but like it's like she's dead now. It doesn't matter what she did. But then it's also like, yeah, I mean, regardless if you're East Asian or not, like East Asia is not a monolith. It's not like, it's not like you can just like talk about all types of different cultures because you are type of Asian. I don't know how to say that more concisely, but it's just like you see these layers of like, or I guess like this justification of like,
Mhm.
if they can do it, why can't I do it?
Mm.
And it's weird. It's a weird conversation to see, but it's also really funny as a book. If
The psychological mind games, for sure, it does feel related because it's just like, you know, you talk yourself into doing one thing, right? Like it's like a small thing, like, oh, if I steal a pack of gum, no one's going to notice. But you keep going back to the same store and you keep stealing packs of gum, and eventually you have a whole case of gum at your house. And it's like similar where it's like, okay, like letting one thing slide is going to be okay. Like that's fine. But then once you let like multiple things slide, then, you know, it sort of escalates or snowballs into something bigger and like maybe not necessarily in the good way.
I love this analogy of gum.
Gum wall, like all over my social media recently.
Oh,
Um, like the Seattle gum wall, like everyone's been talking about it for some strange reason. I don't know
Well, it's because
why.
they cleaned it. They took
Wait,
off all the
what?
gum. But I think people are starting to put gum back.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
it was naked for a little bit.
Oh.
The
Well,
poor
that
person that had to scrape the wall.
yeah. Why did they have to clean it?
I don't know. Maybe it was getting too gummy. Maybe it
Oh.
started becoming sentient. While we keep pondering on that, let's take a break.
All right, let's get into the movie that we're all here to talk about today. Incantation. Do you want to read this part or do you want me to read this part? I can read it. Oh, okay, I'll read it. Incantation is a 2022 Taiwanese found footage horror movie written by Chang Che-wei and Kevin Ko, directed by Kevin Ko. It's about Lee Ronan, a woman who gets her 6-year-old child Dodo back from foster care after getting psychiatric help due to some supernatural events that happened prior to the birth of Dodo. We'll be getting into the details of the film here today.
I enjoyed, so I, to preface, I enjoy found footage films. I enjoy something that feels very real. What I super enjoyed about Incantation in the realm, if you think about found footage altogether, is that they kind of layer this found footage curse with something that is visual, something that's physical, and then something that is auditory. So like the
Ooh.
chant, uh the hand
oh my
motion,
God,
and then
stop doing it.
I'm already cursed. Wait, you did
How do
not
you do it?
chant? I think it's this.
Wait, do it.
Oh my
Are
God.
we all getting cursed?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I thought it was good. I thought because it's a little watching first the first I watched it two times. I watched it when it first released on Netflix maybe like 2 years ago, and then I rewatched it for this podcast, and I forgot how um unlinear it was because you're kind of getting told these different parts of the story, but it's still found footage. So I was like, I feel like I remember this movie, but I really remember the three kids or the three college students or whatever going into this village and doing the naughty of filming and doing very sacrilegious things, and not necessarily this whole storyline with the mom and the daughter. Uh, but yeah, I thought it was a very interesting take on a found footage film that is also a possession slash curse film.
would you go down a creepy tunnel that has all these forbidden no entry signs all over it for the sake of science?
I feel like it wasn't science. I feel like it was for content.
For content. Would you do it for content?
For content? Hell no.
For content, hell no. For
Yeah,
science, maybe.
maybe.
Can
Yeah.
I monetize the science? Yeah, let's do it. I think if I was in that situation, I don't know. I'm a non, I should say, like I don't believe personally in like evil ghosts or like ghosts that can curse you. I don't know what I believe when it comes to like the afterlife or spirits or whatever. Because I've had an experience, Joyce. I'll tell you after this podcast. I've had a a brief stint with a poltergeist, I think. Um, if I if I was in this situation and it was us three, let's say, and we had this you know, ghost finding YouTube channel. Would I go down there? I feel like in America I would. Like if it was like an abandoned church or a hospital, I think I would. But the fact, I don't know. Every time I saw an elder in this, I like I just thought of my grandma. And like you always listen to what your grandma says. Like me specifically growing up, like grandma, like matriarch of the house, whatever she says goes. So if people are like, don't go down there in this movie specifically, I don't think I would go because of grandma.
I don't know. Like, I, here's the thing. I love paranormal things. Like, I love like watching things about ghosts, like possessions, like all that weird stuff. But I'm a weenie. Like, I'm a huge weenie. So if in real life, if Banana and Danny asked me to go on an actual ghost hunt, no. Like, I'm like, no thanks.
We're not going to ask you for season 2 when we go actual ghost hunting.
Yeah, it's okay,
Yeah.
pass.
We'll video call you in.
Okay with that, actually.
Okay, so I'm a yes. Joyce is a no. Banana, would you?
I think it also depends on the situation. Like, I think if it was like if it was I'm thinking of that haunted house. It's not really a haunted house. It's like that house with all the different rooms in it.
Oh,
Shoot. It was like a lady built it. She was like an heiress.
Oh, to confuse the ghost, the something manor.
Yeah, I was there like last year. And I want to say Anne of Green Gables so badly,
It's
and that's
not.
not what it is.
is it the Winchester Mystery
Yes.
House?
Yes, yes, the
Okay.
Winchester Mystery House. We were there last year. If it was the Winchester Mystery House, then yes, I would absolutely go because I don't think it's haunted. But if it was like, say for example, do you know that temple? It's sort of like this weird temple that's like built in the 90s. Um, that has all the arms. It's in Thailand, but it has like this one area that has a whole bunch of arms just outstretched up from the ground. I think it's called Wat Rong Kun. And if you like, it has this path. So it has this long pathway. It's like a runway. And as you're walking down this catwalk, there are just these hands and arms just like outstretched towards you. And even though it's built in the 90s, I do not want to like go ghost hunting there. And also they have statues of like Hello Kitty, they have statues of like Superman, like just like really random pop culture statues, but I still wouldn't go ghost hunting there. I don't know, there's something about it. Just bad vibes.
Bad
Hmm.
vibes.
It's the vibes.
So Joyce, we've talked about The Ring, we've talked about Jew on the Grudge, and we always like to mention like how much budgeting, like from way back when up until now. How much money do you think went into Incantation, the movie? Like what budget do you think they have?
Oh my God, great question. Okay, I've that's so funny you asked me. I'm really bad with budgets. Like big budgets are so abstract to me. Okay, can you help me out by giving me a multiple choice?
Yes.
Okay.
Was it 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, or 100 million?
I'm gonna say 1 million.
It was 1 million.
Oh
Hey.
my God.
Yeah, good job. Which is actually, I feel like in the found footage realm, I feel like that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But there were some really cool effects in this movie.
But it's still pretty much like a low budget movie.
Yeah.
Because 1 million is not that much for a film.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, found footage.
To give you a an idea, Blair Witch Project had a budget of 200,000. So Paranormal Activity had a budget of 15,000
What?
for production, and then post-production 200,000. So that's with editing and stuff. So we 4x that and you get Incantation, which again, I guess overall, if you think about like other types of movies like action and stuff, um, that have these bigger set pieces and explosions and stuff. It is on the lower end of the budget, but do y'all have a scene that stuck with you in this one when it comes to either the kills or the graphics or what spooked you out on this one?
I have one.
Mhm.
The tunnel scene, like when they actually go through the tunnel, like the two kids, that they're not really kids, they're college kids. They're
They're
not
called
kids anymore. They're like they're adults.
they're adults.
They're I know, I keep calling them kids. Um,
Damn.
yeah, I know, I feel old. But like the two guys, one of which is the father of Dodo, presumably. Um, he goes down this tunnel with his friend, the other person that the other content creator, YouTuber, whatever we want to call them. They go through this tunnel, and it's like the tunnel that everyone in the village is like, "Hey, don't go there. This place is forbidden. Just don't go." And they go, and they're literally tearing things off the walls. They're tearing up like, the all the sigils and stuff, like the paper sigils. They're tearing off like the fulu, like the paper stuff, and also just like the mirrors. There were like mirrors everywhere that were there, obviously there to
For a reason.
protect you
Yeah.
from the thing that's
Oh,
beyond.
I didn't think that was obvious shit. Okay.
Oh, they were like, I think they're sacred mirrors. They were like polished sacred mirrors. And they were just
Oh,
like, nope, fuck this. We're gonna break every single mirror. And it's like, you could just
for content.
move.
Joyce,
Right?
that's why they died.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, we cannot take Joyce anywhere.
Anyway, they keep going. Eventually they see the Mother Buddha at the very end, and Mother Buddha is terrifying, but it was the one part where they're trying to escape, where their arms and legs, or maybe not arms and legs, but just arms, just like reaching out from the walls of the tunnel and the floor of the tunnel and the ceiling. That actually probably is what reminded me of the temple that I was talking about earlier. But that scene was just like, that is terrifying. If
Mhm.
that ever happens to me, I just should just no, I'm
Just take me
done.
there.
Just
Yeah, I'm
take
not trying
me.
to. Yeah.
I don't want to suffer. Just
More
give
than
me a,
5 arms on my body at a time, just drag me to hell.
yeah.
Just
Oh,
do it
another
all.
movie.
I feel like if Banana had 5 arms and 5 legs, Danny would be on the recorder and be like, content for science.
For science. And then I would throw you the camcorder, and then I would get taken to hell, and then you would have to curse everybody else for us.
Oh, true. Yeah.
See? Teamwork.
Joyce, was there a scene for you?
Actually, okay, this is like ultra spoiler. There's two because I'll give the ultra spoiler kind of like probably like everyone else freaked out about this scene, and then a more like not personal one, but a smaller moment. Okay, so the big one is the reveal at the end where they take like the cloth off of the statue that everyone's putting mirrors around to protect other people from, as I now understand. Anyways, when they removed the cloth, I'm like, oh my God, like that was, they did a good job. Like I felt like it was so unsettling. It's like, I don't even have, what is it called? Like trypophobia?
Yeah,
Oh,
trypophobia.
yeah.
Trypophobia. Yeah, I don't even have that.
I
But
don't
like it
either,
made
but I thought it was gross.
yeah, it made me so uncomfortable. And if I'm recalling correctly, like it was just like it just felt like an endless mouth and it was like shaped weirdly,
Yeah.
like a head split open or something. I was just like, ah, that was scary for me. The smaller moment is when do y'all remember it was like Dodo or Dodo? Like it's so weird for me to say
Oh.
like Dodo. But like so Duo, like the daughter, like the kid, she's like in her room and she's scared and like mom comes in or Ronan, I think is her name, like comes in and is like, what's wrong? And then Duo is like, there's like something on the ceiling or there's like something weird. Like, yeah. And then Ronan, like the mom, oh my God, sorry, I'm getting like scalp chills. It's like the mom is like, oh, don't worry. Cause it's like, obviously, this is like parenthood, right? I mean, I'm not a parent, but it's like, I hear from my mom a lot about this though. It's like, you got to be brave for your child. Like,
Oh.
you're scared of cockroaches, but once you have a child, like, you learn to not be scared of cockroaches. Okay. So, similar thing. I'm sure the mom, Ronan, is scared as hell, but she's like, hey, don't worry. You know what I'm going to do? Like, I'm gonna connect hands. I'm gonna hold hands with whatever this weird entity is, okay? Don't worry. And look, we're gonna walk it out of the room. Like, see, don't worry. And I was just like,
Uh-uh.
because I'm like, what if it was actually I mean, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out it was Mother Buddha with a million arms.
Ugh, so it's like she just reached up and just happened to grab one. She's like, oh, got
Yeah.
it.
You got one random arm. It could have been a foot. You don't know. I was looking up the Mother Buddha statue because I was just curious. Is it for sale? Just wondering.
Is it?
Um and Hideo Kojima has one. He got sent one from I guess like the creators of the movie or something, but he just has a tiny version of one.
Oh, a
Oh, a
tiny
tiny
version.
version.
Yeah, like a
Me and
I
Joyce
don't
like,
know, like a
oh, cute.
paperweight.
Small? Yeah.
That's fine. It's not like,
Danny, do you have a scene that stood out to you?
Yeah, I forget the name of the character that like helped free the child from the daycare. He was very nice.
He was.
Um, uh,
oh, the teacher, like
was he a teacher?
orphanage guy?
Yeah, the orphanage guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, where he was like, I don't know, I wanted him to survive, but the scene where you just see him get possessed after trying to help them, and he's just like, it wasn't even like necessarily gruesome, but he started like banging his head against the laptop, and you're just like, oh gosh,
It was
no.
gruesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, one of them got burned up on a stake. I thought that kill just solidified how uh malevolent 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 and evil and malicious this curse could be, because that man was just trying to help this poor mom out. For me, it's just like that moment where I was just like, this poor man just got cursed like all of us. That one stuck with me.
And he like runs an orphan or like a foster
I
care
know,
thing.
he was
It's
a good one.
like what did he do? He just cared too much.
He cared too much and got cursed.
Is that
Yeah,
a lesson for us all?
Quit
I think
caring.
so.
Quick caring. I don't know. I feel like a lot of us were raised in various like with religious thoughts or cultural thoughts, and like, one of them is like, good things happen to good people, so just keeping a good person and like nothing bad will happen to you. I don't think that's the way life works scientifically, but
Scientifically,
For
yeah.
science.
because most movies have proven that that's not true.
That's very true. The amount of like normally, again, kind of thinking about how religion was used here versus a more Western, like when you think about religious horror in America, 99% of them are going to be based off of the Catholic Church and or priests and or um getting possessed and trying to be exorcised. With this one, I don't know. Like me personally did not grow up religious, but we did have like practices where if it was New Year's or new moon, like my mom would pray to the moon goddess, and like we would just kind of go through the motions, or like we would pray to our ancestors and stuff. And I think I understand why people have religious trauma now because like this movie like hits me harder than like, when I see The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which was a fantastic movie. Um, but yeah, for me, this one going into like this village where it just seems like, I don't know, it's like this new generation trying to mess with older traditions that you don't need to talk about. Or like if you want to do it respectfully and do it on their time and not yours. That's something that I got out of this movie as well, is that they didn't respect the land, they didn't respect the village, they didn't respect anybody. They just wanted the content. And again, this was made in 2022 where everybody is trying to make YouTube videos or TikToks or whatever. So I think it's of the times, but that kind of stuck with me in this movie, is that these people were living their lives. They had like contained Mother Buddha somehow, say, don't go in, don't go in. We boarded up this door. And look what happens when you go in.
You fuck around and you find out.
Yeah, like when you were saying that it hit different, so true. Like that resonates so much with me. And yeah, oh my God, yeah, especially like because this movie is Taiwanese or at least set in Taiwan. Like that's why I was so excited when it first came out too. I was like, oh my God, like wow, I'm gonna like see my culture. So yeah, it really hit different, and like Taiwan as a whole I feel like is very superstitious, like
Mhm.
yeah, like there's a lot of actually because you know the main it's like everyone knows about like Buddhist temples, there's like Taoist temples, but there's also like a bunch of local I always get this word confused, is it deities or deities?
I think both.
I think both. Yeah, just
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
local gods. Like there's a bunch of like small local gods. I guess kind of like almost like Japan, like Shintoism, but they're very it's like you have okay, I'm sorry if I offended anyone and it's like nothing alike. But it's like there's like it's very localized. And so it's like and often some of them are like nameless or not nameless, but like it's not widely recognized like nationally. It's not like, you know. So there's a lot going on spiritually there, I feel like. And oh my God, sorry, I'm like going off on a tangent.
No, that's what this
This is
podcast is
great.
for. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Me and Banana are like,
Let's
keep
go.
going.
Great. But like the city that I spent a lot of my like teenage years in, is called it's like it's like north. And at least when I grew up there, there was a lot of graveyards. Like it was just graves and graveyards everywhere, like to the point of they needed to start excavating a lot of them to make room for new developments. And so I always felt like it was a spooky city. For example, like for my school, I think I was like in middle school or something, and then like there's the like a back area, like a back parking lot where, or like, or a little area where parents can pick you up from school. And then I was like, doo doo, like I would walk through there, and there's like, you know, just a grass area. And then one day I was like, oh my God, like I was like, why are there so many huge holes in the ground? Like it's so hard to walk. And then I think a parent or someone told me, I was like, oh, yeah, they're just like digging up graves. So it's like they can make room.
Oh,
Very normal.
casual grave digging.
Yeah, like
Wow.
it's like, yeah. And then because there's this whole superstition of like, after you dig up a grave or something like stuff to do with like cemeteries and graves, you have to let it, the sun, quote unquote, like dry it out or like cleanse it for like an X amount of time
Oh,
to do anything with that.
you gotta let it aerate.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like wine.
Yeah.
I'm getting cursed. We're
Oh my
cursed.
God, we're so cursed.
Oh, spooky city. And like if we have time later, like after we get through like the bulk of things, like I want to tell like a
Yeah.
story that like happened in our home. Like,
Wait, tell it
What? Yeah,
now.
tell me
oh,
now. I'm
okay.
excited for
Yeah.
this.
Okay, don't get too excited. Maybe I'm like hyping it up, but it's not like too crazy, but I'm curious. Y'all tell me. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so my mom, I think I want to say, I'll say she's spiritual. I don't know what her exact beliefs are, but she's definitely like some sort of spiritual, religious, but I don't know what exactly it is. Okay, so she used to be like she used to be a masseuse, and we had like a 3-story like townhouse that we rented. And the second floor was dedicated to her clients. So there was like a room like that she had like massage tables on, and like, she kept it very clean. There's an adjoining bathroom, very clean. And she would always play like a chant. I don't know if it's Buddhist, but it's definitely some kind of like sacred chant to like no shit. She said like to cleanse the space, like for especially for like any clients. And the directive to me was always like, do not use this bathroom or this bathtub because it's for clients and it's really clean. Don't come in here, basically. And I'm like, of course, when she's not home, one day I go in there because I'm like,
Joyce,
I,
respect your
Oh my
elders.
God, Joyce.
it was
Okay.
too tasty. Like, I was like, okay, mom's not home and that bathroom is super clean. And like there's a bathtub, which is like very luxurious, I feel like, at least back
Ooh.
in the day in Taiwan. Like, so I was just, at least for our standards, and I was like, oh, I was like, I gotta use this tub. I'm gonna take a soak. Okay. I go in there. I'm just taking a bath regular times and reading a book. Suddenly, in the corner of my eye, it's almost like slow motion. Okay. Y'all know like lights, right? Ceiling lights,
Uh-huh.
and how
Uh-huh.
there's like often a glass cover over them. So out of the corner of my eye, almost in slow motion, like I see the glass cover kind of like, and it like detaches somehow. I don't know. And it fucking drops to the tile ground next to me and shatters like all over the place. And I'm like, and meanwhile, keep in mind the chant is going on in the background. And like I am pooling in cold sweat and hot water. Like I'm just like I'm like, I don't feel good. And like a million things are racing through my mind, including my mom saying to me, like, hey, don't worry. I had like a spiritual friend come by when we just moved in to like get a feel of the aura. She said this place was like real good. So like we have nothing to worry about. So of course I'm
Joyce.
kind of being like, nothing to worry about, nothing to worry about, like, but then in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, but if something came through despite the chant, I'm fucked. Like I just
Sad. Oh my God.
yeah. So to this day, it's like it could have been like explained by a variety of things, right? Like I'm thinking earthquake, or like like slight earthquake, or maybe it just wasn't screwed on really tightly. It could be anything.
Was there anyone? So you said this is the second floor, right?
Yeah.
Was there anyone in the third floor that
No,
could have been
I
like
was
stomping
home
around?
home alone, all alone.
Do earthquakes happen a lot in Taiwan?
Semi frequently after the whole 921, sorry, not 9/11, 921 earthquake. There's like tremors like a lot. Yeah.
I don't
So
know, but
Still.
like the fact that you were in a tub, like that could have, why didn't that fall sooner? Like why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there could have been like those kinds of lights outside or anywhere else, but it happened right there.
Right beside you. Do when you were doing something that your mom explicitly told you not to do.
oh my God. Yeah.
Maybe your mom was doing the work to keep you safe and you broke the barrier.
Yeah.
She was putting up those mirrors and I was taking them down. I just wanted to see what it was like to be pampered.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
That's a really good story.
Thank
Wow.
you. Yeah, well, there you go. It's out there in the world now.
Dang. Spooky AF. Did you tell your mother?
I was just trying to recall if I did or not. I think I had to because I like, panic, like swept it up and threw away the glass.
Oh yeah.
But you can't explain away like not the light cover not being there anymore.
That's true. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Like that's weird. And it's also weird that this happened to you in a bath/bathroom situation. Because we were talking about some other movies, specifically like Freddy Krueger and like in The Grudge, where
That's
like
true.
this is like your little sanctuary and you're nice and cozy and you're getting haunted. Like you were so isolated and you can't really do anything. You're naked, like you don't know what the
Yes.
heck to do, and then things are happening around you. So that's just that's weird.
You know what else is in Freddy versus Jason? A
What?
lot a lot of adults telling kids not to dig deeper into Freddy Freddy Krueger because they were just like, hey, our town has suffered enough. If we bring about this, if we remember this guy, this ghost, this, demon, then we're gonna bring Freddy back. And we don't want to remember that. We want to make sure he doesn't come back.
Yeah, because Freddy's fueled by fear, and if you forget
Right.
about him, he doesn't have power. But then these kids kept like trying to dig more. So what if this ghost or this being, the spirit, was subdued, and now you put this story out into the world? We weren't supposed to talk about
Oh,
it, Joyce.
That's how I feel. Like honestly, I'm feeling a little trepidatious. Like I'm like, oh,
oh,
well, yeah. It's fine. It's been so many years, right? Are
it's
they
fine.
dormant like volcanoes? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Well, I mean, we're all friends, so I could
Just
pass
like the
it on
movie,
to you.
you have passed another curse on to us.
Yep. Now our
No.
listeners are going to get past the curse as well.
Oh my gosh.
We're
Well,
diluting it. We're diluting it like incantation.
that's
Exactly.
true. That's true. As long as everybody's cursed, nobody's cursed.
Right.
Oh my God, I just had a thought.
Uh-huh.
Do you think incantation was kind of like inspired by the concept of chain letters? You know how back in the day we would
Uh-huh.
Talking about that.
what?
We were talking
Yeah.
about cursed emails.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking about the ring, because I think it was the first episode we were talking about the ring.
If you
Yeah.
send this to your 40 closest person, then you won't die.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And on that note, let's take a break.
Now for the part of the show we're calling Slaughterboxd. We've tasked each other to find some funny, weird, and potentially unhinged reviews on Letterboxd, and we have to guess what star rating is left with what review. Feel free to play along at home. Danny, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I guess y'all can team up on this one, since we do have our special guest here. So remember, Joyce and listeners at home, these ratings can be from half a star all the way up to five. And playing so far, 4 episodes in, half stars always get us. Like we're always that close, but then um we're always off by half. So keep that in mind, not to bias your judgment or anything, but plus or minus halves can make a difference. Um, because we did talk about Speak No Evil both 2022 and 2024. I did two of each. So let's start off with Speak No Evil 2022 first. User Slimy Swamp Ghost left a review saying, learning how to say no is so important.
Slimy Swamp Ghost. Isn't that Adam Vass? Wait, what was the review again? All I heard was Slimy Swamp Ghost, and I was just like, wait a
You're like,
second. Oh, sorry, it's not Adam Vass, it's Trevor Henderson. Well, I didn't confirm on Letterboxd, but on Instagram, Slimy Swamp Ghost is Trevor Henderson, who is the creator of Siren Head, the I don't know if all of you have seen it, but it's the creepypasta where it's like the siren, this tall figure with a siren head. He's an illustrator. He's fantastic. Yeah, love chatting with him.
wow, shout out to Slimy Swamp Ghost.
What?
Yeah.
No.
I feel like that's okay. I'm biased. I'm using Joyce Brain. That's a 5 star for me.
Actually, can I change my thought on this?
Yeah.
Because now that I know it's Trevor posting that, I think it's a 4-star review.
Hmm.
It is a 4-star
I
review.
cheated.
Oh my
The next one, this is still Speak No Evil 2022. The Day of the Dot left a review saying, I'm perfectly fine with never having friends.
Oh my God.
I think that's like a 2-star review because you don't want to have friends. Like that feels like a gotcha. You know? I don't know. This is like how you survive the movie by not having friends. Joyce, what do you think?
It feels kind of like a 3.5. It's like they like the movie, but the concept of having friends is a downer now.
This was a 5-star review. 5 stars from Day of the Dot. Perfectly
Wow.
fine with never having friends.
Get out of here.
Good for them. They know. They know what they want.
All right, going to the James Watkins, Speak No Evil 2024. This one is from Bert, capital Bert. I promise I'm not Bert. After all that, I'd still spend a weekend with in the country with James McAvoy.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh.
God.
It's you. Stop
It's not me.
lying.
It's not me.
I'm going with 4.5. I'm really capitalizing on the point fives right now.
Yeah. Okay, so 4.5. I'm gonna say 4. 4 stars.
4.5. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. All right, and then the last one for Speak No Evil. We're tied 1-1. All of a sudden, this is a competition.
Oh my God.
Oh, I knew that from the beginning.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Let's go.
Last one. This one's left by Cirrus. Cirrus says, I would be the same if I left my Jellycat somewhere too. And if y'all don't know, Jellycats are fancy little stuffies. Do y'all know what Jellycats are?
No, wait, let me look up a jelly
Yeah,
cat. What's a
same.
jelly cat?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Jellycat is a very bougie brand of stuffies, but they came into my purview because there's a Jellycat immersive experience in FAO Schwartz in New York, and they have like pancakes and like French toast, and they pretend like they cook it and they put it into a box for you. Very cute, but very expensive.
Like how expensive?
Like very expensive. Well,
Wait.
not
I
like
mean,
very expensive.
like $30.
Yeah, $45 for a plush.
Oh,
So, Sarah says, I would be the same if I left my Jellycat somewhere. Knowing all that information. It's a good
um,
design. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what Karis's Jellycat is.
I would say like a 4-star. Wait, I've been saying 4 a lot, and it's only gotten me 1 point so far. So I'm gonna th say 3. 3 stars.
I was gonna say three as well, but you know what? I'm gonna stick with three.
The plot twist. This was a 2.5-star review.
Oh,
So
So
close.
close.
that was really
Half a
close.
star away.
All right, we ready for incantation?
Yeah, Joyce, let's work together on this one. I don't want to compete with you.
So the first one we have is from Gwen VK. The quote is, "Everyone just kept throwing gang signs!" Exclamation mark, exclamation
Oh,
mark.
I'm gonna say a two because I feel like this person is a little displeased.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say two. Okay, we're competing again. I'm
No,
gonna say
we're working together.
no, we're competing. Um, I think it's a 1.5.
It's 3 stars.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah.
okay. Maybe
Okay.
It
should
was
I?
a confusing one. The next one is from Eno3HT. Average YouTuber.
Damn.
These are harsh. These are
These are
These
harsh.
are really harsh.
Just an average YouTuber. After giving your life away, I'll go first and I'll say this is for sure a 2-star review.
That's what I was gonna say again.
You can
Yes,
say, yeah.
I will. 2 stars.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, are you psyching us out? No, I'm just kidding.
It's 0.5 stars.
Oh
Oh
no.
my
This
God.
person did
Half
not like
a
YouTubers.
star. Yeah, they really did not like YouTubers or content creators or whatever you want to call them. The next one is from Lucas Alordi, which is kind of
Lucas.
funny. Um, the Dune popcorn bucket jump scare.
That's pretty good. That's
That's
relevant.
that's
That's
relevant.
relevant.
For those of you that don't know, take time to Google Dune popcorn bucket and come back to the episode.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. So I think the Dune popcorn bucket is a good thing. I feel like Lucas Alordi also appreciates a good fleshlight looking monster. I'm gonna say this is a 4-star review.
Oh my God. Ugh. Well, to differentiate
You don't
myself,
have to differentiate.
no, I will because that's how we survive in this capitalistic market. Am I right? No, I'm just kidding.
Find your niche.
I'm gonna say 4.5. But again, this is Joyce Brain. I personally enjoyed the Dune popcorn bucket concept. Unfortunately, I never got my hands on one. And my friend said, you know what they should do with that? They should detach it from the popcorn bucket and then put it on a doorbell. So, like, because if you don't want people ringing your doorbell, that's definitely going to deter.
They should have had this Dune popcorn bucket sitting in front of this door that they kicked down, this boarded up cavern, and it would have kept them away.
That's true. It's very smart. So it is 4.5 stars.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and a
Cap
heart.
and a heart.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have one more.
Okay,
So the
damn it.
last one is Cool Sad Official. And they said Dodo's Bizarre Adventure.
So good. Like, these people are definitely on Reddit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like I have to say 4 again just in case. No, 3.5. 3.5, and that's it.
3.5?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm gonna say 3.
3.5 stars.
Yes!
Everyone's tied.
Everyone's tied. We're just all tied.
Yeah, we're just really good at this game.
Super big thank you to our special guest, our first guest ever on Spooky Asian Club, Joyce. Joyce, can you tell the listeners where they can find you?
Sure, yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Juicette. That is juice the drink, and then you add TTE on it. And that's where I currently am only on socials, or you can go to my website, joycehwang.com. Look at some art, I guess.
Yeah, don't just look, buy.
Oh
Yeah.
my God,
Buy a shirt.
stop!
Yeah, buy a shirt, buy some prints.
Buy a sweater.
Quit being cheap.
Yeah.
Support Asian women.
That's right. Like, fight our Asian cheap tendencies. No. Cut that out. Just kidding.
No, leave it in. Leave it.
No,
It's
we're
the-
leaving it in. Yeah.
And thank you to everybody for listening to this episode of Spooky Asian Club. Don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe, and share this with someone you want to curse.
And until next time, remember to pray to your favorite terrifying deity.
I don't condone this.
Bye!
Bye. Thanks for having me.
This episode of Spooky Asian Club was edited by Marcus Mays. Music was provided by Artlist. Spooky Asian Club's logo was designed by Andy Crisp, and the sustained life of this podcast is made possible from our creepy little Patreon members and listeners like you.